I slept horribly last night. I did not sleep good at all. I kept having this reoccurring weird dream that I was in this country with an 8.9% inflation rate, the highest it's been in 40 years. Gas prices were insane. It was the worst nightmare I've had in a very long time. And then I woke up and sure as shit, here we are.
It wasn't a dream at all.
It was all a dream.
It was a nightmare.
Good morning, my lost savages. Thank you for spending your morning or your afternoon with us here at the Shell Shock CBD HQ, right outside of Dallas. It is dark and overcast outside. It's looking like it's about to just unleash hell on us. And I absolutely love it. I love that kind of weather. It's nice.
I washed my car, so I was able to bring the rain right after that.
You're bringing the rain?
Yeah.
You're bringing the
rain.
rain.
That's what happens. Anytime I wash my car, a bird will shit on it, and then it rains immediately. Like, glad I...
So you're saying in order to make sure that we're getting accurate or enough rain, if a bird's not going to shit on your car, I should just go out there and drop a big Cleveland steamer on the hood just to get you to wash it so it'll rain again? Or does it have to be specifically a bird?
I prefer it to be a bird, not human shit.
It'll be after I ate Chipotle, so that way it won't be a big solid one.
Chipotle.
Little Chipotle.
As long as it's not a Taco Bell.
Oh, my God. No, I slept like crap last night. I was having some nightmares. It was weird. Wasn't about inflation, but still, it was weird. But what we were talking about just before we started the show.
That Saudi Arabia video?
Yeah, the skit. Like there's a skit. I saw this skit last night. There's a skit portraying Kamala Harris and President Biden. And I think this was done by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I originally thought it was done by Saturday Night Live because it wasn't funny. Like I watched it as like their accents are horrible. He sounds nothing like, it sounds almost like an Italian Joe Biden.
It kind of did.
And I'm sitting there as like, okay, so I know Saturday Night Live, by and large, is not very funny. When they started bringing in like the woke gay comedians, it was just like, yeah, you're not funny. And when they did this one, I thought it was them, but I was like, okay, well, Saturday Night Live is horrible, but they're not this bad. Yeah. And so I watched like maybe a minute of it, and it was just like, it was all right. You know, Biden's up there, is like, he's speaking in his Italian accent. He's like, I'm here to talk about Italy or some shit. And then Kamala's like, Christ, like, no, Russia. He's like, oh, I'm here to talk about Russia. You know, making fun of the fact that he's old, decrepit, senile, all this other stuff. And I didn't end up finishing. Did you watch the whole thing through?
I did, because I was waiting in line for a coffee. So, like, might as well go ahead and finish it. But I was like, it wasn't funny, right? It just goes to show that the rest of the world thinks this guy's a complete idiot.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, people made fun of Trump as well, but then a lot of countries love Trump. I haven't seen really any country out there like express just an outpouring of support for President Biden. I haven't seen it.
No.
So, I didn't find it very funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny, but it just goes to show you that probably most of the world thinks this guy's a complete idiot.
Oh, they have
like
to.
He's not there mentally. And he
absolutely.
probably has dementia.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I mean, really, him having Alzheimer's isn't like a joking matter. It's a serious issue.
When he's president, absolutely.
It's a serious
I think it's
issue.
a joke that we live in denial of this fact.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Yeah. People sitting there simply because they hated Trump so much, willing to overlook this major issue that Joe Biden is displaying simply because they just don't want mean tweets anymore.
Right.
And these false accusations of racism, bigotry, and xenophobia. It's like you're starting to see now. It's like, again, like we talked about yesterday, it's like you get what you vote for. And this is what we got. So, again, good job, liberals. Pat yourselves on the back. You know, just a bunch of idiots. So, but all right. Let's get into this day in history, and then we got a lot of news to cover. Some serious issues going on in New York. We've got Ukraine is back in the news. I mean, Ukraine's always in the news. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with this day in history. All right, this day in history. The bloodiest 4 years in American history begin when the Confederate shore batteries under General P.G.T. Beauregard opened fire on Union-held Fort Sumter in South Carolina's Charleston Harbor on April 12th of 1861. During the next 34 hours, 50 Confederate guns and mortars launched more than 4,000 rounds at the poorly supplied fort. On April 13th, U.S. Major Robert Anderson surrendered the fort. 2 days later, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation calling for 7,500 volunteer soldiers to quell the Southern insurrection. As early as 1858, the ongoing conflict between the North and South over the issue of slavery had led Southern leadership to discuss a unified separation from the United States. By 1860, The majority of slave states were publicly threatened secession if the Republicans, the anti-slavery party, won the presidency. Following Republican Abraham Lincoln's victory over the divided Democratic Party in November of 1860, South Carolina immediately initiated secession proceedings. On December 20th, the South Carolina legislature passed the Ordinance of Secession, which declared that the Union now subsisted between South Carolina and other states under the name of the United States of America is hereby dissolved. After the declaration, South Carolina set about seizing forts, arsenals, and other strategic locations within the state. Within 6 weeks, 5 more southern states, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and Louisiana, had followed South Carolina's lead. So essentially, this was the beginning of the Civil War. That is this day in history.
Interesting.
Today's the day that a bunch of white people died to free black people. Oh, but we don't talk about that. So sorry about that. All white people are the devil. All right, it's in the news. It's everywhere. It is currently still undergoing from what I'm seeing on the reports, but there was a massive shooting in New York, and it was on a New York subway. And the article is coming to us from CNN saying, mass shooting on subway system comes as New York City has faced an uptick in shootings and transit crimes. More than 360 people have been shot this year in New York, and 322 shooting incidents, according to a data reported by the NYPD through Sunday. Shootings in the city have increased by 8.4% from 297 to 322 compared to last year, according to the data. The number of people injured in those shootings increased from 332 to 363 from 2020 to 2021. Now, as for the issue in, the subway in New York, suspect at large after 10 shot at Brooklyn subway station. Now, from the initial reports, this is saying what they know so far. At least 16 people were injured in a Brooklyn subway shooting this morning, according to officials, with 10 suffering gunshot wounds and 5 people in critical but stable condition. New York's governor said there is an active shooter situation in the city as the suspect is still on the loose. There are no active explosive devices at the scene, according to the NYPD. The FDNY reported earlier that several undetonated devices were found. Also, they said there was a smoke device. Like, for some reason, I saw the actual video when the subway doors came open and there was smoke pouring out of the subway. And I was like, what the hell would cause that? And apparently there was a device. It was probably a smoke grenade or something along those lines. But that's currently still going on. Let me refresh this to see if there's an update on this. Because, again, last it showed... most recent update was this 14 minutes ago. It says the FBI is working with the NYPD on shooting subway investigation, officials say. Well, then rest easy, folks. The FBI is on it because, those guys are just doing a bang up job at everything they do. Let's just hope the active shooter didn't have a laptop. Yeah. If you assaulted him with a laptop, this guy's free and clear. They ain't going to catch this dude.
If he's voted Democrat, then he's as good as gone.
Yeah, pretty much. And then another thing in New York is the New York lieutenant governor has now been arrested for bribery charges from a scandal that happened.
What?
You're kidding. There's just no way. There's just no way. You mean more freaking political corruption? No. Say it isn't so, Bob. Say it ain't so. But yeah, we'll keep you updated with that. We'll probably check back by the end of the show to see if they've caught this guy. And again, it's been about 4 or 5 hours since this incident happened, and he's still at large. So, all right, folks. Hey, we did it. We did it. We fixed this. We fixed this war in Ukraine. Did y'all not know this? Josh and I, we did it. We single-handedly ended the war in Ukraine.
You're welcome.
Well, actually, it wasn't us, but we contributed. Well, we didn't contribute. But we like to think we did, even though we didn't.
We changed the icons in our profile.
Yeah, we put Ukrainian flags in our Facebook profile. Yeah, that's what we do. That's how you end these wars. Mm-hmm. That's the way it works.
That's how we ended racism.
Yeah. Well, move over, Gal Gadot. Step aside all these Hollywood celebrities during COVID lockdowns. You remember that when they were singing Imagine? Imagine there's
it really
people.
Changed the course.
That single-handedly just undermined COVID right there. There was how are you going to compete with that? You can't. When Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, is singing Imagine on Instagram, and we're all in this together, there's no coming back from that. Well, we've taken a lesson from that. Julian Lennon son of John Lennon, infamous Beatles member who was assassinated. Julian Lennon sings Father John Lennon's peace anthem, Imagine, for the first time ever for Ukraine.
Horrible voice.
And immediately, Russians everywhere threw down their arms and said, we can't compete with this. This is too much. Like Julian Lennon sings Imagine. This has never happened before. We give up. We are done. This invasion is farce. And we apologize for what we have done. Could you please stop singing, though? It is fucking horrible. It's like somebody raping cat. It's bad. Very bad. Julian Lennon previously vowed never to perform his father, John Lennon's iconic Imagine. But Lennon has been so disturbed by the unimaginable tragedy of the Russian war in Ukraine that the singer performed his father's peace anthem publicly for the first time. He says, as a human, as an artist, I felt compelled to respond in the most significant way I could, Lennon wrote Friday on Instagram along with a candlelit video performance of the song. So today, for the first time ever, I publicly performed my dad's song, Imagine. But also because, okay, was that what he said? I don't even fucking know. But also because his lyrics reflect our collective desire for peace worldwide, because I don't give a fuck, whatever. Just another goddamn hippie. The song featuring Lennon sitting on a stool with a single acoustic guitar accompaniment was posted on Lennon's Instagram page on his 59th birthday. The performance was part of a global citizen social media rally, Stand Up for Ukraine, which is raising money for the embattled country and refugees fleeing amid Russia's brutal war.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where the money's going.
I'm 100% sure that's where the money's going. Absolutely. Yeah. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
You fought it. You ended the war. The war's over, folks. Pack it up. We're going home. Russians are throwing down their here's the deal. If you really wanted to end this war, get Roseanne to sing something.
There you go.
Get Roseanne, and then I think Russia would surrender. It's like, no, please stop. No more. That or have Fergie do the national anthem again. That could end the war. I mean, that actually might make some Americans leave and go fight on the Russian side at that point. I could see that.
Did you listen to him sing it?
Who?
John Lennon's.
Oh, no. Did you? Is it bad?
You said you haven't? No, I haven't heard it.
No, I didn't listen to it. I honestly don't give that much of a fuck. I don't care. I just thought it was funny that everybody's making a big deal about it. It's like, oh my God, he's singing his daddy's song for the first time ever.
Yeah, it just seems.
Oh my God.
It seems a little bad taste.
It really does. I mean,
like just to kind of get some recognition on the national.
It's like making you at the center of the spotlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's going to do anything.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do to help stop this war in Ukraine? I'm going to start an OnlyFans, and that'll do it.
And if you want to purchase the song on iTunes, purchase it. It's whatever.
It's also being recorded to Spotify and iTunes. You can buy it for 99 cents over there.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do, however you want to help out.
I'm sure Paul McCartney's like so pissed the fuck off right now. He's like, how the fuck am I not getting involved in this? This is bullshit. So
how old is that guy? He looks like an old woman.
Dude, he's
about 100.
You talking about Paul or Julian?
Paul.
Yeah, but he's up there. Like he is.
Yeah, those guys are.
Yeah, I think the only ones still alive are Ringo and Paul, aren't they? Because George passed, John was assassinated. I think Paul McCartney and Ringo are the only. I never
got into.
Did Ringo die?
Like any of that, like the Beatles or
the Beatles had some hits. No, the Beatles had some hits.
It's not my taste.
I love me some Beatles. I'm not gonna lie on that one. I think Twist and Shout. They had so many classics. They really did.
Like what was the bicycle one?
Fat Bottom Girls. That was Queen.
No, it was like about a bicycle or something. I don't know. I like some of their songs are just like I just can't get into it.
A bicycle song
or something like 16 or I don't know. It's like their songs are just not my taste. Huh. Never got into it.
I had an aunt, my Aunt Linda. She is a lover of the Beatles. Like she's obsessed with the Beatles. Like every time I go over there, she'd always be playing Beatles. Has all their albums, autographs. Like oh my god, she's a Beatles fanatic. That's what got me turned on to the Beatles. And I actually liked them as a band. They had some really good hits. Yellow Submarine. These guys are like tripping on acid when they wrote half their songs. Like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, I think was about cocaine. Yellow Submarine, I think was like tripping on acid. These dudes wrote some really good hits when they were like high as fuck. So
see, I don't think they were good songs. Like I
think you're just
Yellow
stupid.
Submarine,
So how about that?
Just because you're high on acid doesn't mean you're going to write a.
They clearly did. They
take
nailed
some acid and write some lyrics down, and I think we could probably put something together.
I mean, dude, I'm afraid to try acid. I don't want to try acid. Knowing my brain and how it functions and works, I don't think I'd ever want to try acid. It would be a very bad trip.
Yeah.
And then here's the other deal. This has really put the nail in the coffin of the Ukraine-Russian invasion. Sean Penn, who has still not melted down his Oscars, still hasn't done it, as he said he would. Sean Penn is thinking about taking up arms against Russia. Actor Sean Penn says he's considering taking up arms and fighting alongside Ukrainian forces against Russian invaders. The 61-year-old actor made the comment on Saturday after filming a documentary on the Russians' invasion at the start of the conflict in February. The only reason he would stay in the country longer would have been for me to be holding a rifle, Penn said. Adding he would fight without body armor so he could give his to a civilian fighter or a fighter with more skills than I have, according to Hollywood Authentic. He says, so where I am in life is short of doing that. But if you've been in Ukraine, fighting has to cross your mind, Penn said. And you kind of think, what century is this? Because I was at the gas station in Brentwood the other day, and now I'm thinking about taking up arms against Russia. What the fuck is going on? Penn, I don't know. You tell me. You're the one wanting Americans to get involved. You're the one over there filming this heart-throbbing fucking invasion documentary. You tell me what's going on there, big dog. Mr. I Am Sam. Are you going to do it or not, man? Put your money where your mouth is. And while you're at it, take Mark Levine with you.
And Alec. He's not afraid to kill a guy.
Fuck no. And women. It kills women. Mm-hmm. And Van Taylor's over there just wanting to be like, hey, is there any Ukrainian women over there want to do like a little rim job? Let's get the Pope involved too. Fuck it. Let's just have the holy trifecta of retardation over there. Let's just do this.
Mark Levine.
Oh my God. How great. Let's get Sean Hannity in there. Let's get Hannity, the Trump lover himself, Trump lawyer. Let's get him. Let's send him. Let's put him on a boat. Let's load them down with care packages and just shoot their asses over there and say, have fun. Go to town, boys. Go to war. Go to war.
It's an option.
It would be great. Mm-hmm. It'd be great if they did. That's what we need to start doing in the comments of all their posts on social media. Just go into their comments section. Like Lindsey Graham say, go fight. Go fight. Go sign up. Nothing's stopping you. Go do it. If you feel so adamant about this, go do it. Just like harass the fuck out of them on social media. It's like, if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, then go do it, boo-boo.
Yeah.
Go do it. That makes sense.
I think it seems fair.
Yeah. Oh, man. Dude, you got to love this. So we've talked about this previously. The BLM and their $6 million mansions and stuff like that. They came out. Dude, I can't even believe this shit. I really can't. I mean, I can, but BLM defends multi-million-dollar mansion purchase and lengthy Twitter thread. The activist group has recently came under fire for its financial spending. Black Lives Matter defended their multi-million-dollar mansion purchase with donor funds in a lengthy Twitter thread on Monday. The left-wing group came under fire last week after their lavish home purchase was exposed by the New York Magazine. According to the report, the California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash on October 2020, with money that had been donated to the BLM-GNF Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. The report from the New York Magazine caused the activist organization to respond on Twitter. And here's their response. There have been a lot of questions surrounding recent reports about the purchase of Creator's house in California, Black Lives Matter official Twitter account posted. Despite past efforts, BLM-GNF recognizes that there is more work to do to increase transparency and ensure transitions in leadership are clear, it added. In subsequent tweets, BLM called a flurry of reports looking into groups' finances inflammatory and speculative, and blamed them for causing harm. The reports do not reflect the totality of the movement, the organization claimed. Yes, they do. When you're being investigated by the IRS, whom I'm not a fan of the IRS, but when you have fraudulent spending, yes, the fuck it does. Go ask what happened to Wounded Warrior years ago. When they're out there just blowing all, that's why I'll never donate to Wounded Warrior. Like, fuck them. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't care if they've cleaned up their shit. You get one shot with me, bro. You get one shot. And, Wounded Warrior blew it. They were spending money on lavish 5-star hotels, holding little things there. The CEO came riding in on a horse or some shit. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, BLM. Fuck you and your feelings and your fucking movement. Your movement's founded in bullshit anyway. Mm-hmm. Black people are not oppressed in America. And I know that triggers you to hear that. But this white boy is sitting there telling you, you're not oppressed. How do I know this? Because you nonstop bitch about it. And if you were actually oppressed, you wouldn't even be allowed to bitch about it. So, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. We are redoubling our efforts to provide clarity about the BLM-GNF's work. In coming weeks, we will unveil new initiatives to increase transparency and accountability and to continue reshaping what radical philanthropy looks like for black people. Yeah, you're right. $6 million homes for owners, for content creators to promote joy. That's what they said. The organization continued to defend where some of their funds have been spent, citing $3 million to COVID relief, $25 million to black-led organizations, as well as working to pass federal legislation against qualified immunity for police officers. The series of tweets concluded that with the group declaring that they were embracing this moment as an opportunity for accountability, healing, truth-telling, and transparency, and working intentionally to rebuild trust. That is the biggest cop-out I have ever heard in my entire life. Now you're playing that liberal tactic of, you caught us. It's like, This is a teachable moment. We here at the BLM, we're gonna take this and we're gonna do good things with it. We're gonna do great things for black creators and black restaurant owners and all these other people. I don't know why my black impression sounds like a Valley Girl, but if I did like a black impersonation, they accuse me of being racist. But whatever. Yeah, you get where I'm going with it. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I don't think
it's stupid.
Hardcore BLM supporters don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
They just don't.
No. I think a good chunk of them secretly just don't like white people.
Right.
I honestly feel that's what it really boils down to at this point. Because you see what these BLM people post on Twitter. I've had a few interactions with them, and you talk about some of the most racist people I've ever seen in my time.
Yeah.
And you can't touch them. Twitter won't ban them because they're black.
Oh.
Absolutely not. And then if you're white, instantly, as soon as like a group of black people that are BLM supporters come at you, it's like, well, look at this racist motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And then they start hitting you with the racist slurs, like, oh, really? But if I was to drop the N-word, there'd be an international event of like cancel and kill John Burke. But they can call me all manner of derogatory white names, which, again, you see, here's the thing with actually being empowered versus not. I don't care. You can be racist towards me. I don't care. It means nothing to me because you don't matter. You really don't. When you're a racist, your life doesn't matter to me. That's just the way it goes. Regardless of what your skin color is, I really don't care. So that's just what it is. And so they're going to take this and they're going to run with it. We're going to use this as a teachable moment to become more transparent. There is no becoming more. It's you either are or you are not. You are from the get-go or you're not. It's too late at this point. 2020, they purchased a $6 million mansion. It's too late. You've had years of corruption, years of who knows what you've done with the money. Because, again, when the IRS is coming in saying, wait a minute, there's something wrong. There's a couple $1 million missing here. It's like, well, okay, then something's up. Something's rotten in the state of Chicago. City, rather. Not Denmark either. Shakespeare. This isn't the first time the BLM has drawn scrutiny over its finances. In April of 2021, the co-founder of the political movement, Patrice Cullors, drew attention for purchasing 4 homes for $3.2 million, according to the report by the New York Post. Critics noted Cullors previously described herself as a trained Marxist. These grifters and these ignorant black and white liberals stupid enough to donate to this dumb organization of black supremacists. It's ridiculous.
Hey, they found what they're good at.
That's grifting their own. Yeah. Grifting their own and then making white people feel guilty and taking their money too.
Right. I mean, why would they stop doing it unless people just stop giving it to them? I'm telling you, there's just going to be a small handful of people who are like outraged.
These dating profiles I look at, oh, fuck my life, man. As soon as I see... I talked about it on Twitch last night. This is actually kind of a funny little social experiment I did. There hits a point, like, and that's why, like, on apps like Hinge, they need to make, like, a fitness filter. To where it's like, if you're not active and you're not into the fitness world, that should be a filter. Because I am tired of having to swipe on overweight, obese women that just don't give a fuck about their bodies. Which, if that's what you're into, do your thing. I really don't care. But still, I'm not attracted to that. But there is no filter like that on Hinge. So I tried something. They do have a political filter.
Really?
They do. I selected from moderate, conservative, centrist, yada, everything but liberal. I didn't select liberal. As soon as I did that and refreshed the feed, it has been nothing but hot women. I'm not, my hand to God, I am not making this up. All the fatties are gone. All the blue-haired, septum ring-wearing little freakazoids are gone. And it's just like... Well, that says a lot. It was interesting. I need to do the same thing on Tinder now just to see if it has the same kind of ramifications. I don't know if Tinder has I think it might. A political... I just thought it was I thought it was great. As soon as I refreshed it, boom, hot woman, boom. I was like, I'm going to start swiping right now. This is great. This is nice. Right. I ain't mad at you. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, that was interesting to see that. But... A month later, Cullors said she would step down from her role as executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Days after this latest story, Cullors wrote an Instagram post denouncing the story as a racist and sexist attack on the organization. Oh yeah, everything is racist! Or maybe you're just a racist fuck yourself, and you use race to fucking cover that shit up. You try and use your skin color as a shield to shield you against your bullshit that you stole from your own people, your own community. You piece of shit.
Yeah, it would make more sense to like try to put that money back into a community to help the youth.
Oh God, no.
Now we got to get this mansion.
God, no.
We're going to call it Joy.
The group told the Associated Press this year that it had raised $90 million in donations in 2020. In 2020, $90 million.
Yeah, I would almost guarantee that there's fraud.
Oh, yes. I mean, there already is. They're buying $3 million mansions. They're living the good life while their fellow black people are out there living in the...
Now, you could probably work that. If you get a smart accountant that could set these things up and say, okay, it's like it's sort of like what televangelists do when they buy a giant house and they'll call it their parsonage or whatever. And so, I mean, they'll skirt around that, but it sounds more like some money laundering things went on.
I honestly wouldn't doubt that.
Because I think they actually, it was a televangelist who sold it to them for like $3 million, somewhere around there. And then they bought it. Is that what happened? It's something like that.
It was, there was this article is a little misleading because
because initially it sounded like there was some sort of money laundering thing going on. And I could actually see how that would.
I don't know if it was money laundering. It was investment in properties, in real estate. But they didn't say that specifically. But there was one or two spokespersons that actually came out and said this was investments. It's like, but I don't, correct me if you're, I don't know. I know a 501c3. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I'm not really sure because unless...
Yeah, that's when you start to get into some murky water there.
Yeah, because that's not what you were running. That's not what you were asking donations for. You're asking for donations to help improve black lives.
Right.
Well, investing in real estate is basically a money-making operation, which I can understand that you're wanting to increase your revenue, but that's also not guaranteed. So essentially, the donations you're taking, it's almost like a gamble. And that's not what a nonprofit should be for.
No, not at all.
So, and then the simple fact that you're, again, the leader and co-leader are buying $1 million mansions with this donated money. I'm sorry, but no. Like, no. You don't, that's not what that money's for. So, as far as the money laundering, I don't know.
To me, that's what it looks like. Just as an outsider looking in, like,
I'm not saying it's not possible because they
money.
Already bought these houses. Yeah. I mean, I would not put it past them. I mean, I really wouldn't.
Like they bought it for $3 million, sold it for a profit of I don't know, a few $1 million. At like 3 days later. Sounds like sounds like a little bit of a scam. I don't know, but due process.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. All this hatred of white people against black people, violence and stuff like that, and here you are, these prominent black members stealing from their own, stealing from their own. It's almost as stuff like that's an issue that should probably be. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that. Sorry about that. My bad. We're just gonna skip on.
Shut up.
Ukrainian Archbishop says men are begging to defend their homeland. Sean Penn isn't. He's saying, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about helping you.
He's on the fence.
I'm going to call for American involvement to get over here in Ukraine and start slaying the Ruskies, but I'm going to think about it.
My gout is flaring up.
I don't know about this. I have to do another movie about retards or something. I'm not sure. Something about drinking. I don't know.
I Am Sam 2.
I Am Sam 2. The Ukrainian anthology produced by Sean Penn, starring Sean Penn, written by Sean Penn, and not actually fighting with Sean Penn. Ukrainian Major Archbishop Shivak said Monday. Svatoslav. There's no point.
That's it. You got it,
bro. There's just no way. Said Monday that Ukrainian men are waiting in line to enlist in the military for the opportunity to defend their homeland. Ukraine is standing. Ukraine is fighting. Archbishop said in his daily video message, while designating the 47th day of national grief, the 47th day of national grief. Speaking with people in the Kiev region, one can feel that many people, many men, and even territorial defense are afraid that victory over the enemy will come without their participation. And after the liberation of Kiev region and the Chernihiv region, they are begging to go where there are battles, the Archbishop said. So essentially what it's saying is people are joining now because they think it's winnable. Too little, too late, guys. I mean, that's kind of, I guess, better late than never, but that sure is the cowardly way to go about it. It's like, wait, it's time to go. We got to get out of here. Russians are coming. And then, the people that stay and fight, and they start beating them back. And then they're like, we should probably go back and help them. Because you want to reap the glory is all you want to do. Mm-hmm. You want to get there and be able to say you were a part of something. You didn't have the balls to actually stay and fight when you didn't know the outcome. You just assumed that I assume the Russians are going to come in. But apparently right now, Russia's ramping up in Donbass. Like they're going back after Donbass. They're going to go take it. Donbass, for those that don't know, were one of the outer lying cities. And it was originally, I think, a pro-Russian city. I think Russia's actually going to take it back. I'm surprised they didn't do that already, but it also could be because they had much more partisans there. I don't know. But
seems like someplace you'd want to start if it's a Russian-friendly
area. You would
area.
think that. But then again, who knows tactics? We need to consult General Miley. We need to get expert General Miley in here to talk about that, per se, Maybe he can brief us. Maybe Lloyd Austin can
talk about pronouns.
And extremists in the Ukrainian ranks and,
bits and pieces and
yeah. Now, there is speculation. Now, this has not been proven, so please take this with a grain of salt. This has not been proven. The Azov Battalion, the battalion of Nazis that are fighting alongside Ukrainian forces that are also members of their National Guard and all kinds of other stuff. This is real. It's an actual real thing. They're accusing Russia of utilizing chemical weapons in, I think it is Mariupol. Apparently they're saying Mariupol, but there's been no proof. I haven't seen anything in the press, and even if there is, I don't know what to believe. But right now, they've come out and there have actually been statements from the Azov Battalion representatives saying there were chemical weapons used. This could be a farce to try and draw in NATO, to try and utilize that to get America involved in this war. Because if Russia's actually doing something like that, that eventually could actually lead to more interventionism to the point where you're actually committing troops. Like if you're using chemical weapons, we did it in Iraq. Supposedly. Saddam gassed the Kurds back in the 90s and...
Supposedly.
Well, no, he did.
Did he?
Oh, he did. Yeah. He killed like 5,000. He murdered them. So it was bad. That's why when we were over there, Kurds were some of our best fighters against the Sunnis and Shias. I forget what Saddam was. I think he was... he technically wasn't anything because everybody's like, yeah, he was in title only. He wasn't religious. The guy was a dictator. Didn't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. But I forget which tribe he actually belonged to. But he hated the Kurds. He hated him some Kurds, and the Kurds hated him. Mm-hmm. So when Saddam was finally taken out of power and the invasion happened, Kurds were like, we're ready to fight. Like, let's go kill him. We want some revenge. It's like, come on with it. Come on with it. Let's do it. Kurds were some fighters too. They didn't fuck around. They did not fuck around. Like if anybody's ever actually served in Iraq, and you actually had trained and fought alongside the Kurds, there were guys that are kind of like, we're gonna be over here in the patrol, you be over there because you guys are a little trigger friendly. Like they don't give a shit. So, and then I had a video sent to me yesterday, and this was crazy. Is a vet buddy that sent it to me. I'll have to post it in my Telegram chat room for you guys. I'll do it after the show. It's a bad video. Apparently, there are 10 Ukrainian soldiers standing around. You can tell. It's pretty clear. And then they're just sitting there. They look over and they see a tank rolling up, and I guess they think it's one of theirs. And that tank is within 20 feet. And then they suddenly realize it's a Russian tank. And the Russian tank at 20 feet fires the main gun. Shreds them all. If you're standing in front of that fucking bad boy, regardless if that shell hits you or not, just the pressure is going to explode you.
God, man.
And you just literally see them just standing around, and then they kind of look and then realize, and as soon as they realize, boom, and it just fires, just shreds them all. And my buddy sent that to me, and I'm looking at it, and it's like, that's why in the infantry, the first rule is security, security, security. Anytime you stop, you put security in place, basically your guards, and you make sure that shit does not happen. They had no security. They were standing there, Kevlar's off, bullshitting, smoking and joking. Tank rolls up, shreds them all. God. I was like, Jesus.
Who's videoing it?
I have no idea.
So there
had to be.
How do you catch something like that on video?
Yeah. Dude, that's a great question. It certainly wasn't staged because that bitch fired a real fucking round. You see it. It's clear as day. There was no hiding it. Because when I looked at it, I was like, there's just no way. This has to be staged. And you look at it, I was like, nope, that's real. That's real as hell. So I will post that in my Telegram chat after this for you guys to actually take a look at. Here is the link. Telegram. Where's the Telegram link? Here it is. So if you want to join my Telegram chat room, you can do it here. I'm going to spam the link in the chat. There it is. You go join Telegram there. I'll post the link here after the show. Just be warned. You don't actually really see any blood or anything like that because, the round, it's just so explosive because after he fires, the camera kind of goes up a little bit. But yeah, it's intense. And there's actually a lot more interesting stories circulating in the Telegram chat room. I've been watching it. I don't really say much. Just watch what's going on in there. Make sure it's a good environment for people to actually just converse and talk to each other and share stories and stuff. So we have a good group of people in there. But, yeah. Okay, so the story is Russia invades Ukraine. Live updates. And Russian troops are pouring into Ukraine with a large column of military vehicles seen heading in the direction of the Donbas region. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko are meeting Tuesday at the Voshny Cosmodrome in eastern Russia. Unverified reports have emerged of a possible strike involving chemical substances in Mariupol. There are increased reports of rape and sexual violence being used against women and children in Ukraine, the UN Security Council was told Monday. Ukrainian officials said nearly 3,000 people were evacuated Tuesday from the southern and eastern parts of the country where fighting continues, including 208 people from the besieged city of Mariupol. And that's basically what it's talking about right now. Nearly 3,000 Ukrainian civilians evacuated from areas and fighting on Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister says. Yeah. It is so hard to process between what is propaganda and what is not. Because these accusations of rapes and stuff, like, that's war crimes. These are war crimes. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how do you prove this? Because it's literally right now at this point a he said versus she said. This could be fabricated essentially to create more propaganda, to draw in more people into this war to help support Ukraine by painting Russian troops to be a certain way. And I'm not saying they did, and I'm not saying they didn't do it. I don't know. But I'm saying it is possible. We have seen this in the past to where the MSM will spin shit and they will lie about stuff. Our own government has done this. This is not far-fetched, folks. It's not. It's really not. So, I don't know. But good news is Americans turned back on Disney after LGBTQ embrace. I'm telling you, if you are a member of the LGBTQ, when you bring trans into it, your movement's going down. It's because of the transgender movement that the LGB has lost so much credibility. You are losing allies. I'm telling you, it's gone too far. Those trans activists that are trying to change how people view them in a manner of saying, like, if you don't like us yet, either transphobic, you're a horrible human being, and then saying that, women or trans women that are actually meant to be able to compete in these women's sports, you're ruining the movement. You could have had your cake. You could have, but you had to take it a step too far. And the tolerance goes out the window. But Disney jumps into it. We talked about yesterday, he said one of the grandchildren of Walt came out as trans. Go figure.
Charlie?
Whatever its name is, I don't know.
I think her name is Charlie.
Whatever, I don't care.
She's the great-granddaughter.
Good grief.
I know.
These people are so just screwed up.
Like, what's going on over there?
Dude,
where,
who knows?
Like,
I wouldn't even be surprised.
Homosexual and has trans kids.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were links to Epstein at some point. I really wouldn't be surprised because you're sitting there pushing LGBT on children. The CEO has come out and said that.
Yeah.
And now you've got the daughter or whatever talking about yesterday saying, like, they're trying to reverse history. This is about love. It's like, you don't physically love children, you sick pervert.
I know,
you don't.
The trans grandkid, I think, is a teacher.
Jesus
out in
Christ.
California.
Well, it's California. Go figure. I mean, does that really surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me, but I don't know. Concerns me that they would want to have conversations with kids
kids. Yes, with kids. And people are accepting. Some people are. Not all are accepted. But the article came to us from Washington Examiner. It says Americans turn back on Disney after LGBTQ embrace. Nearly 7 in 10 Americans upset with Disney's embrace of the LGBTQ movement. Now, the way they phrase that, though, it's not so much of the embrace of homosexuality or anything like that. It's the using it on children.
Yeah.
It's a theme park that should be void of all sexuality. Mm-hmm. There should be no sexuality. And I'm sorry, but homosexuality, it's literally in the name, sexuality.
Yeah.
Heterosexuality, it's in the name, sexuality. Has nothing to do with any of it. Get your $20 corn dog, ride the ride, slap like Mickey's fucking hand, and shut the fuck up. Nobody wants your bullshit alphabet mafia crap pushed down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
They are tired of it. Americans are sickened. They've been tolerant long enough, and now you're making enemies. This is what happens. So you can double down. You can fight the same with the BLM. You wanted all these allies, and you got them, and then you fucked up, and now you're making way more enemies, and you're losing allies left and right, as you should, because, again, you're not oppressed. Anytime something happens to a black person, they're like, oh, the oppression. It's like, well, that happens to like 20 white people. You don't say anything.
I know.
Well, you weren't a slave. Well, you weren't either. In fact, neither was your freaking mother or your grandfather. So what the fuck are you talking about? But I'm sorry, but as a white guy, I can't say that, apparently. I don't know, whatever. Nearly 7 in 10 Americans upset with Disney embracing of the LGBTQ movement no longer want to do business with Mickey Mouse and instead will seek out family-friendly alternatives, according to a new survey shared with Secrets. The latest data said that 68.2% of voters are now less likely to do business with Disney. Of those, 57.2% are much less likely to buy from the entertainment giant known for its kid-friendly parks and movies. What's more, 69% said that they are likely to support family-friendly alternatives to Disney. The survey from Convention of States Action in partnership with the Trafalgar Group has also found that concerns about Disney's plan to create related content are bipartisan, with 48.2% of Democrats also saying they are less likely to do business with Disney. That is almost 50% of your Democratic voter base saying no. You are really on your own. You've isolated yourself to such a grand extent. Like, I am just, wow. Even when Democrats, like half of the Democrats, like, nope, don't want anything to do with it. This is what happens. It's the fringe. It is the fringe on the left that are decaying the DNC from within. This is a prime example. I guarantee the other almost, 52% are probably moderate Democrats saying, nope, we don't want anything to do with this. The other 48% are like probably extreme progressives.
I don't know. Is there such a thing as a moderate Democrat anymore?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd say Tulsi was a moderate Democrat. I mean, Biden was a moderate Democrat. Obama was a moderate Democrat. By today's standards, oh, yeah. No, by today's standards, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't make him a good, I'm not saying he's a good Democrat. I'm just saying, like, but according to today, look at, like, Obama's 2008 versus now. We've gone way down the cesspool.
Yeah, it's just because you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Oh, absolutely.
So you just keep taking a little bit more. Next thing you know, they're wanting to talk to kids about trans and sex and all kinds of other stuff in school.
You know, I'm just going to say it.
It keeps going.
I'm just going to say it because I think a lot of people think it. This started with the LGBT. Once it was normalized, it just went down this road.
Yeah.
And very quickly, might I add. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am not blaming gay people on this. I'm not blaming one homosexual person out there.
Yeah, but when that's the only thing you want to talk about, that's the only thing you want to talk about, then that's an issue.
Yeah, that is an issue. Yeah.
All right, you want to marry the same sex, whatever. Yeah. Great. Live your life.
100%. But then it de-evolved into drag queen story hour for children.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck did that? No. Like, absolutely not. Like, a man dressed up as a woman is just weird to me. Like, I have friends, like, I had dated some girls that a while back, they were like, we enjoy going to drag shows. It's like, no. Like, why? It's like, oh, it's just entertaining. It's like, I don't like seeing guys putting on the clothing of women, very overly done, might I add, and not even looking realistic. I don't enjoy that. That's just not something that beckons to me. I'm very open-minded to a lot of things. But that, like, no, I'm good. I'd rather actually see a woman perform because a guy pretending to be a woman is pathetic. I'm sorry.
I guess everybody has their own thing. I mean,
you enjoy drag shows?
Like if it's an art form or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't. No, it's not my thing. I'm not going to go out. But
I think
I'm not going to go out and like start judging people like do whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Stop trying to teach my kids about it.
Exactly.
That's it. That's my whole thing.
You sitting there with your little horns sticking out and you're like your face painted white, looking like freaking Lucifer's seed. Like, no.
Yeah. Don't make up songs saying we're coming for your
coming for your
sons,
kids. Yeah.
Coming for your kids.
That was, dude, seeing that, I was just like, good Lord.
Like, I don't know if you want to say that. I mean, it's
disgusting.
A little out of bounds for me.
Well, Zuckerberg A representative from Mark Zuckerberg confirmed that the Facebook CEO will not make another multi-million-dollar donation to aid this year's elections, which comes after fierce pushback that Zuckerberg's 2020 contributions tilted the outcome of the presidential race towards President Biden. As Mark and Priscilla made clear previously, their election infrastructure donation to help ensure that America could vote during the height of the pandemic was a one-time donation given to the unprecedented nature of the crisis. Ben LeBolt, a spokesperson for Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan, said they have no plans to repeat that donation. Zuckerberg and Chan donated at least $350 million to the nonprofit Center for Technology and Civic Life ahead of the 2020 election, which was distributed to local election offices. The nonprofit said that this year it will instead launch a different program dubbed the U.S. Alliance for Election Excellence. I love how they just church it up with these names that are like very generic, like for election excellence, which just actually be DNC headquarters. That's what it should say.
That's the shit they do. It's like the Lincoln Project, and they're more communist than like the President Lincoln or MoveOn.org.
It was
like,
all bullshit.
Just move on.
Yep.
It's all the way back at Bill Clinton after his affair and all the shit that he did.
It was all bullshit.
Move on. Let's just move on.
But it's just so funny how people still haven't like learned their lesson according to this. It's like they're still donating to these causes by these Democrat-led freaking organizations, and they keep getting scammed. The Hillarys or the Clintons, the Haitian thing, the BLM. It's just like, have you not learned your lesson? Like if Trump did the same thing, it's like, have you guys not learned your lesson yet?
Yeah.
Every time these political movements come in there and cash in on you, they just run rampant. They run buckshot, and you can't even stop them. And you keep donating to it. Who's the real idiot here? Is it them or is it you? Because they know how to actually manipulate you. That's the sad part.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do we know, though?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A lot of this stuff, I just think it's a smokescreen to.
I think so too.
To other bigger stuff.
The program is an $80 million 5-year effort intended to create a network for the nation's thousands of local election officials who can apply for aid to improve their technology and processes, the Associated Press reported. Wait. Why aren't those processes perfected already? What are you talking about? That's federal money that's given to these people to do specifically this. This does reek of corruption. This reeks of corruption. Because I guarantee this money is not going to fucking like Republican. Dude, no. I don't believe that for a second. I do not believe that for a second. Yeah. And finally, there's not a lot of news to cover today. I'm sorry it's a shorter episode today, ladies and gentlemen, but I hate beating these dead horses of Ukraine and Russia. But, hey, good news. Inflation surges to 8.5% in March, hitting a new 40-year high. Economists expect consumer prices to rise by 8.4%, the fastest since January of 1982. Inflation accelerated to a new 4-decade high in March as supply chain constraints, the Russian war in Ukraine, and strong consumer demand fueled rapid gas price gains that wiped out the benefits of rising wages for most Americans. The Labor Department said Tuesday that the Consumer Price Index, which measures a bevy of goods including gasoline, healthcare, groceries, and rents, rose 8.5% in March from a year ago, the fastest pace since December of 1981, when inflation hit 8.9%. Prices jumped 1.2% in the one-month period from February, the largest month-to-month jump since 2005. Economists expect the index to show that prices surged 8.4% in March from the previous year and 1.2% on a monthly basis. The so-called core prices, which exclude more volatile measures of food and energy, climbed 6.5% in March from the previous year, up from 6.4%. Increased records in February. It was the steepest 12-month increase since August of 1982. And it's only going to get worse.
Did you see that? He's
only going to get worse.
Said Joe Biden will announce his decision to lift Environmental Protection Agency regulations on E15 ethanol. So they add up to 10% of ethanol to gasoline.
Uh-huh.
So
the
price of corn has spiked from $3.08 a bushel to $7.69.
Jesus.
So it's like, who's making these decisions? Who's saying that's a good idea?
Dude, I just this administration has been such a catastrophe. Like I was saying it on the Twitch stream last night. You can follow me at the John Berg. I was streaming high off my ass last night. I had a really good time. I was saying even last night, it's just like, we had low expectations for this administration, but fuck me running. Like you really just you You're exceeding low expectations of how bad this administration is. Like, it is on fire and burning before our very eyes. Like, fuck me, dude.
It's
like I think an administration of kindergartners could legitimately do better than this. All you had to do.
They got
to
like
be
a book of bad ideas over there.
That just all you had to do was just let it ride.
That's it.
Let it ride, and then you could have just played the political game and reaped the benefits that Trump had just basically laid out for you. But you didn't. Instead of like wearing the clothing that Trump laid out for you, which is like $1 million suits, you're like, no, I hate Trump. I'm gonna wear this romper.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that doesn't make any sense. Like, sheesh.
Going full on communists.
Full on comment. It's just insanity.
It's like,
dude.
listen,
we
want to talk to your kids about sex.
Yes.
And homosexual stuff.
And then the Biden administration, you know what they do? And this is how stupid they are. Let's not even look at this from a human rights standpoint. Let's look at this from a populist standpoint. Okay? 1%, less than 1% of America is trans. Less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Biden administration came out there endorsing transgender puberty blockers, surgeries in the youth, in children. Are you stupid? You sat there and you're promoting this because of the 1% of the population that has a psychological disorder, and you're trying to pander to them, and you're going to alienate the remainder of the others that are kind of like, no, dude, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. Children should not be allowed to take hormone block. No. Like, Mr. President, like, bro, whatever crack you're smoking, keep it up, I guess, because, you're going to get slaughtered in 2022 and 2024. It's coming. It's coming. Like, you cannot ask. And I said it. I told you, folks. I told you. America needs 4 years of Biden. We're getting it. And it's only going to get worse because why? That dagger of Democrat policies needs to be not only just jammed into our ribs, you need to twist that motherfucker so you don't forget. And that's specifically to the Democrats. Mm-hmm. So you don't forget what your party did. Your main man with his cackling little Grinch of a fucking sidekick.
Who thinks he's doing a good job?
I honestly do not. I think the last poll I read, his approval rating is at like what, 38%?
8?
No, that's inflation.
8.5%.
8.5% approve of Joe Biden, and all of them have been shipped off to Ukraine to go fight. I don't know. I legitimately, I need to tweet this out. I should tweet like, is there anybody out there? Well, I know there are because you see them on CNN. You see these people on CNN. Like, I actually pulled the CNN website up today. I do go on CNN to see what kind of news articles I can glean off of there to actually look at and cover. But 9 times out of 10, CNN is either still talking about Trump or it's something, praising Biden. And I'm like, dude, Trump is the leader of the left because they've united in their hatred for him, but he controls them.
Yeah.
He controls them with everything he says, everything he does. He fucking calls the shots and they dance like the fucking clowns that they are. And oh my gosh, it is insane to see the levels of just psychological disorders these skyscrapers display on the daily. Mm-hmm. Nut jobs. And a lot of them are displayed on Dating Libs, the Instagram and Facebook page, Twitter as well, DATINGLIBS.
Dude, that's pretty funny.
Oh, I'm telling you. If you go, dude, my DMs are overflowing with these wonderful dating profiles of all these liberals. And it's like, you want to see where the mentally unhinged come from? This is it. I'm going to take you into the breeding pools of the left and see just how insane these people are. These women are nut jobs, and they want to procreate and have little offspring nut jobs. To dye their hair blue as soon as they come out of the womb and pierce their septums and all kinds of weird shit.
Do they want to have kids?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely they do. They need to breed. They have to.
I don't know.
I mean, I hope they die off, but that's probably not going to happen. I think America can do without a blue-haired, fat, lesbian feminist. I think we can. I don't think we really need them.
Maybe.
I don't think we really need them. So, but all right. That ends today's episode of the All-American Savage Show podcast. We appreciate you being here. And make sure you check out ShellShockCBD.com. Again, this episode is brought to you by ShellShockCBD.com. We appreciate all your love and support. We've got the Rack Out gummies that are THC-free that'll help you sleep. We've got the Delta 8 Halo and the Delta 9 Airborne gummies that'll get you high as fuck, and you will fail a drug test, so make sure you check that out. And we've got Dark Matter, 3,000 milligrams of THC. You think you can hang? Good luck. Go give it a shot. It's called Dark Matter. It is Delta 8. It is a it is a tincture, oil-based. It will put you on the moon. So, Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, you got anything to add, my man?
We doing the giveaway on Twitch?
We'll do it after this show.
Yep. All right.
Until then, you stay savage, America.